Straight up, straight to a penthouse, Miami Beach. Hey, yo, talk crazy on tweets. They don't want it cause I come to defeat. They don't want it. I keep the youth all sweet. Bamboo sticks all in the Jeep.
Hi everyone, this is Lerato, Miss L. I like the sound of that. This is Miss L. This is Lerato Lingwati. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, thank you for clicking on this video. Please comment, share, subscribe, and subscribe. Did I say subscribe? Comment, share, like, and subscribe. And let's grow this platform. And if you're turning Sabi, I love you. I love you for clicking back. I love you for coming back and watching this video, because without you I'd lose motivation. So let's get into it. Today we're going to talk about depression. A topic that most people don't talk about, and within the Black community it's not spoken about and it's misconstrued. But yeah, let me add a disclaimer. I am not a qualified psychologist, psychiatrist, or anybody that deals with mental issues. This is solely based on my experience with depression and yeah, my experience. So I got a drink. If I may cry, asikisini. I cry a lot, guys. I cry. People think I'm a mean girl, but ooh, lazy. I whip a lot. So let's get into it. Where to start? Fuck. I don't know where to start, but we'll just talk, you know. I recently discovered that I have depression, and I've always thought that I had depression, but like I've seen videos of people with depression and I'm like, aye, that's not me, cut. But I've recently discovered ukuthi I do have depression, and I've been living with depression for the longest time. Cheers. So my background story regarding depression is that I always thought how I feel is how everybody feels, you know. There's some days where you are sad and you don't know why you're sad, but you're like, it's one of those days. And some days you are happy and everything is so joyful and everything is so fun, you know, and all that. The frame, you know, guys, I need to go back to my some things. You really have to go through them to understand how they actually impact a person's life or how they feel. So until you get to a state where you are depressed, you will never understand how depression feels like, because depression might look like me. Depression might look like somebody who has money, who's rich, you know. Depression might look like somebody who has their shit figured out, but then they're still living with depression. There's another lady on TikTok that I stumbled upon. She's in corporate, she's a lawyer, and she lives with depression. And I'm like, oh man, I could relate on a lot of things, because those are telltale signs of depression. You know, I'm not well informed in the topic, and I really don't want to research a lot about it, because it's something that I'm trying to figure out myself, and how I guys. We had a Thanksgiving ceremony Pavadimu on Saturday, and at Malamhudu as to like flies, and oh, so I've been trying to do these flies. But anyways, so the first time I think I ever felt the hard raft of depression was late 2014. Yeah, late 2014. I was completing my matric. December, I fell into depression. And normally our black parents would say, just stage. Woo, just stage. But that's when I first felt the feelings that I felt. And I couldn't quite understand, Uguti, what is this? Because it is so sad. It's an overwhelming feeling of sadness. It's like losing somebody, but yeah, it's like a feeling of losing somebody very close to you. It's a feeling of sadness. It's a very dark cloud that yagumbata, man, you know. And that was my first time in my adulthood where I fell into depression. How I got out, I really don't know, but in God I trust. And at that time I used to pray a lot. I used to go to church a lot. I guess that also helped, because you're like, I'm a demon. I'm a demon alone. I don't know, man. It's your mental state. It's not in check. You're not okay. So the reason why I fell into depression was that I saw that I didn't quite explain myself clearly. What I wanted to say was, this person was going to fund my studies for tertiary, and mind you, by the time the matric results came out, I didn't apply for NSFAS the previous year, meaning 2014. Didn't apply for NSFAS, didn't apply for any financial aid, because I knew that my financials were covered for all my uni life. The day before I got my matric results, we got a call that not me, child, getting emotional. So the day I got my matric results, the day before I got my matric results, or was it the day after? I can't remember, but it was just after when my matric results season kind of thing. We get a call that she passed on, and there were complications. You know, my heart broke. My heart broke. It broke to a point where I felt like nothing will ever come right. It broke, it tore, man. It physically tore. You can feel there's something. So that was like the first time I fell into depression, and that automatically led me to taking a gap year and trying to evaluate myself and pull self to self. So in the midst of me taking a gap year, I went to college to study fashion design. You know, I kept myself busy with fashion. But then that was depression on its own. And at that time, I was seeing this guy, little boy, because we're still kids, you know, and he introduced me to emo. Gothic, emo, black. Those who know me knew I loved black. You know, I still do, but I trying to train myself to wear more color and invite good energy. So not the good black wrong, colors have meanings. So I was introduced to that side of life, and I remember the first time I cut. Oh, I'm going in deep now. I cut, yeah, cutting razor, to ease the pain. So I'd used to cut. Do I still have scars? I still have scars on both wrists. I don't know if you can. I don't think they are visible anymore. Yeah, you see these are cuts that I used to have in here, both sides of my hands. I was introduced to cutting, and to be honest, that really eased the pain, because bengakwazi ukubhodla kaSotho ubhodla, it's the same thing. Bengakwazi ukubhodla, like let everything out. I didn't know how to in a more safer way, so I used to cut a lot. Now I'm laughing at it because I'm like, why would you want to inflict pain upon yourself? But it used to help. It used to help a lot. So I would cut every time I felt the sense of sadness. I'd cut it started small, because you're like, okay, let me feel how this is. You cut like, okay, it's not bad. And cut, maybe I'll do 3 cuts, 4 cuts, or go a bit deeper, a bit more deeper, depending on how I felt. So this one time I was in class. I think it was business class, and I don't know what got into me, because I never used to cut in public, or anyway mona limbatu, I wouldn't do it. But we were in business class, and I don't know, man, I just took out a razor and I cut myself. It was deep cuts. I remember Mameti Bundu saw me, because I once opened up to him, like, you know what, I am struggling with these type of feelings, and sometimes to ease the pain I'd cut myself. And she was like, no man, everything's gonna be fine. She used to console me, and we used to meditate a lot, me and her. So yeah, she saw me in class. All she saw was blood gushing out my hand, and my hand was full of blood. But then it was at a point where it was almost about to drip on the floor, but didn't she? She was like, what are you doing? Because it felt like I was going through a trance. I was aware of what I was doing, but then at the same time I wasn't, and I just didn't care, whoever said what. So after she saw it, Anghalimela, what are you doing? And it's like I got back to my senses. I'm like, oh shit. And then I put my sleeve down. I think the scare in her face drove me to stop cutting, because she was scared, man. The other time, it was when I was deployed. Yeah, I was deployed, and it started, I don't call them demons, but they're not demons. It started, and I felt like I was going insane. I really felt like I was losing it. And one thing about me, if something triggers me, I do have triggers. I do have childhood traumas. Yeah, something triggered an emotion and I lost it. I really lost it to a point where I thought I was going insane. That second time, I went to a psychologist. God bless his soul, because that's when I realized Lingwati, I have depression and I have serious childhood traumas, you know. And going into therapy is tough. Yo, therapy is tough, people. Self-reflecting is tough. Getting to a point where you're like, yes, I'm a victim, but in some instances you like, I called this upon myself. You won't get it until you do it. You self-reflect and you work on yourself. No man, I caused this shit on my own. It's like you attract it, but still you are the victim. And going through therapy was hard because I'd want to be strong and not break out and not break down in front of the poor guy. But then it's his job. Got to a point of realizing, oh, this is depression, and I have childhood traumas. I have things that I really haven't dealt with that I thought I have, but I haven't. And me talking to him was like, I'd cry, like I'm trying to make a point, but tears will roll down my face and I'll cry hysterically. I'm like, this shit ain't working. So that's why I started shadow work. Now, shadow work is bullshit, but it's a topic for another day. I started shadow work and I've been meditating a lot and reflecting on the things that bring destruction in my life. Yeah, so through therapy I discovered I have depression, but my depression is quite mild because I can identify when it slips in, and I'll just let my emotions go through it, and once self has dealt with self, and I'm okay, just move on. So that was the second time. Third time was when I was pregnant, and my biggest worry was that if I feel this type of way, surely baby doesn't feel okay too, and I didn't want to hinder his growth and development because, one, I hate taking pills. So me forcing myself to take prenatals every single day was just a mission and a half. And there'll be days where I'd skip on my meds and be like, oh my god, is baby okay? So going through pregnancy alone, physically alone, it's hard. It doesn't matter how many people surround you, being your friends, being the people that care about you, being your doctor, your mom, anyone. As long as the person who made you pregnant is not physically there with you, it takes a toll on a person. And how can I put this? Besides me being physically alone, I was physically alone. Like, it was my first time living on my own fully this year. I only started living alone fully this year because the time I got my place, I left again to Durban, then left to Lerato. Yeah, so I only stayed about a good month or a couple of weeks at my place and went on leave, came back home, then deployed again. So I was pregnant and alone and going through the fields. Guys, let's be honest. I know when you have sex, anything might happen, but when you haven't planned to have a kid, funny thing is that I've been dating, and you know,
nothing happened, but then I thought I couldn't have kids anymore. I thought I would die. I'm one of those men that can't have kids. Then boom.
so I fell pregnant and I was alone, physically alone. Had to take care of myself. I had to cook. I hate cooking. I had to clean up after myself. I had to take care of myself physically. You know, I had to mentally think about everything. At school books, kamu, huh? Oh, because I was still studying. Oh, it's baby kamu. So I was depressed throughout my pregnancy, and it's something that I talked to my doctor about, my GP about, and he wanted to put me on antidepressants. Nope. I know I said that I've been feeling these type of feelings, but once I led myself to taking antidepressants, I think that I'd feel Uguti, I've lost the battle, you know. And I'd wake up in the morning and I wouldn't feel like going to work. I'd literally call in. I'd call in at work and tell them, Uguti, there's no electricity, there's load shedding. Man, I'd be going through the most. I'd sleep in the whole day. When I have to cook, I'm just lazy. My room would be a mess. The kitchen will be full of dishes. I'd order in. I'd eat and I'll just leave it there. You know when you see these things on TV and you're like, labantu, the dirty man, they just don't wanna look after themselves. There's no such thing. I went through that. And I was like, wow, is this me? Wow, is this how it feels? Really? It's shitty. It's bad. It's really bad. And you're beating yourself up about this thing that you really can't control, but then you have to live with. And you're like, no, man, heal. And I guess even the healing process itself will take a toll on you. Trust and believe you wouldn't want to go to that place and say, you know what, some things I do call upon myself and some I don't. But the healing process is a journey. I don't want to lie. It's a journey that never stops, and you get to learn a lot about yourself while going through the healing. Healing looks different for different people, so just because you're not Chakrahan or whoever who's doing whatever, it doesn't mean your healing process is not valid. It is valid, and how you choose to heal, it's based on you, and you are going to see the fruits of your hard labor. As I said, the healing journey is not beautiful. I wonder who lied to us. TikTok actually lied to us and said, oh, such a beautiful experience. It's not. You'll sit down and break down and cry and ask yourself, why? Why me? But why not you? If this is going to build your character, let it happen. Everything happens because it has its sole purpose. And once you understand ukuthi you are a soul with a body, meat, you are not meat with a soul. You are the soul. And then you get to understand ukuthi this goes beyond my wildest imagination. If the inside is who I am, and this is just an experience that I have to go through to grow this what's inside, then you become content with most of the things that happen. But then, guys, if you want change, you have to put in the work. As Black people, we need to understand ukuthi depression is not taboo. Parents should just give themselves time to understand or get to understand ukuthi things that they have dismissed for the longest time, it's real, man. You don't just go through stages time. There's something internally that is happening within you, and man, we are all depressed at some point, and we all should seek therapy. Whether it's in your local clinic, whether you go to somebody who would rate you and you're gonna pay, we need some form of a vessel to just talk and try and clarify what's wrong, child, you know. I'm drinking wine. My mom doesn't have wine glasses. I need to buy this one wine glasses. Know that your feelings are valid. Know that what you're feeling is valid. Allow yourself to go through the emotions, to go through the feels, and don't be hard on yourself. One thing I would tell my younger self is don't be too hard on yourself. Life has no formula, you know. It has no formula. If it had any formula attached to it, a lot of us will be blossoming and living at our utmost greatest. Don't. I dude, my panels the English are gone. They're gone. But yeah, you know, and people should learn to deal with the childhood traumas. We all have childhood traumas. This is gonna get a bit deep. I know it's at the end of the video, but the first time I ever felt this sense of sadness was when I was, don't remember the exact year, my age. I remember it was about 2004. 2004, I was told ukuthi I am dumped here. Paraphrasing. Yeah, you are dumped here because your mother didn't want you. You know, she never loved you, and if she loved you, she was gonna raise you. That hit home. That was one of the most painfulest things that a child could ever hear. No child should ever hear those type of words, and no child should be ever told such things as abantu abadala, like, you know. And I remember feeling so sad, so neglected, so unwanted. And I took a knife. I took a knife and I was like, I wonder how does it feel? I wonder how does it feel when you put it there. I put a knife here and it felt sharp. I'm like, no. And then I took a belt. Hey guys, one thing is that, you know, when you're kids, you watch these things. You're like, I wonder how is it to die? Probably I wouldn't feel so much pain. I took a belt and then I wrapped it around my neck and then I pulled it. Just to feel good, is it gonna hurt? But I don't think I was gonna kill myself, but just a sense of good, is it gonna hurt or not? You know, looking back at such things, you tend to wonder, why me? Why did such things have to happen to me? You know, I wish that we, this generation, do not inflict such pain on children, because when you might think, well, it's just talks, until this is gonna affect somebody. And my brain has this thing of locking out information, especially, shift this, locking out information, especially information that would make me feel sad, less inferior, you know, anything that my brain detects as it's gonna hurt me, it blocks it out. And a lot of things used to get uncovered during my therapy sessions, and I will break down and cry and say, why me? But it's life. If not me, who? If not me, I wouldn't have thought of opening a channel and talking about such things, you know. But we are healing, we are going strong. If I have to be a chakrahan, I'll become a serious chakrahan. Meditate, drink your meds, sip your wine, sip your whiskey, and be lovely. I think I'm going to close off this video here, because I know I derail a lot. Now I lose my track of thought. But yeah, this is me, man. This is me without any filters. Like I said, I want this channel to be a place where I could just vent and talk about life. And me opening up, I hope to impact somebody's life, and somebody doesn't feel they are alone. You know, you are loved, and you never know how much love you exude to people until you actually meet people that will tell you physically, oh my God, you know, I love you. Not in a romantic way, don't get me wrong, not in a romantic way, like I love you because you are just you. And it's such moments in my life where I know, with me being alive, I'm not just living for myself, but the people that God brought to me and within my circle, there's a purpose or a lesson that I have to learn from them, or them from me. So if you've reached the end, thank you for watching. Once again, subscribe, comment, like, and hit that notification bell so you can know when I upload the next video. I love you lots. till the next video where we're not so mellow and talking about such sad stuff in our lives, you know. But thank you for watching.